we got two more promotions to get to. I know this one you don't know a lot about, and there's one that we're going to talk at the end that you know a lot more about. But we're going to start off with Pro Wrestling NOAH. Pro Wrestling NOAH is a promotion that seemed to be the top promotion in the early 2000s when it got started. Misawa passed away in the ring, tragically. Kind of fizzled out.
Hasn't really been the same since.
Hasn't been the same, but it's like an All Japan. It's sort of, All Japan, not All Japan. NOAH is interesting to me. It's fascinating to me because in the late 2000s, early 2010s, I gorged myself on Japanese wrestling. Like, I just found everything. Like, I'd scraped the bottom of the barrel. Like, I'm a fan of Kyushu Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Kageki. Like, no-name brand promotions that I know everything about because I dug into the dirt.
I love 666.
Yeah, 666, Osaka Pro Wrestling. And Osaka's the main reason here that I want to talk about NOAH. You got a lot of those old Osaka Pro Wrestling top guys for a small promotion like that. Daisuke Harada, there was Tadasuke, and a few of these guys. Zeus, that's in All Japan right now. He was an Osaka Pro. They kind of fill the card of Pro Wrestling NOAH now. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because you're talking about a promotion in Osaka Pro Wrestling that'll regularly draw 50 people.
Right. And
their top stars that they had 10 years ago are now like the bulk of the roster for Pro Wrestling NOAH. Now, I like them. I think Daisuke Harada and Tadasuke and all these guys are great.
Harada is good. I've seen Harada.
And his tag team,
I do like Harada.
His tag team partners, his name's escaping me. But what are your thoughts on that?
Like on NOAH as a whole?
NOAH as a whole.
I don't dislike NOAH. I'm a big Naomichi Marufuji fan.
Yeah.
I love Marufuji. I like Jake Lee. I'm just looking at the roster right now because I don't know who's still there. I like Takashi Sagura. I like Go Shiozaki. I find it weird that they have their title on El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr.
We'll get to him in a second. And the other guy that I was thinking of is Atsushi Kotoge.
Kato Kiyomaya is not Kino. I like Kino too. He's really good.
It means God hand.
Daki Inaba. There's a Grand Prix OG.
A Grand Prix guy, yeah.
Tokyo Inaba.
Tokyo Inaba, I remember him.
Anthony Green's good. They have a good roster, okay? And here's the thing. If All Japan had this roster, it would be what I want it to be. And that's why I kind of not a huge NOAH fan, because I like All Japan so much, and I just wish that it was all one.
Yeah.
Because, if you put all those guys with the guys we talked about from All Japan, it would be better than New Japan. That would be hard-hitting 90s All Japan wrestling.
Yeah.
So I don't really follow NOAH because I try to follow All Japan. NOAH is definitely more accessible.
Yeah.
But NOAH is one of those things that, for a couple months it can be really good, and they can be dog shit for the next 6 months.
You mentioned him earlier. The new GHC heavyweight champion is El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. So this ended Keno's third reign as GHC heavyweight champion. Keno does not seem to get the respect he deserves. 3 reigns, none of them has reached triple digits. His final reign ended at 99 days. The first one was like 71 days. The other one was like 90 days, 91 days, whatever it was. What is it about Keno that they'll push him until they just don't have any faith in him? What's the problem there?
We call that the Suwama effect.
Suwama got the treatment in the beginning. I believe it was like 420 days as Triple Crown champ. That's long. It's a long.
Well, it's the same as Naito. Look at the way they treat Naito in New Japan.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
But again, Keno, a Michinoku pro wrestler, is not a NOAH OG. The NOAH OGs are all in New Japan and All Japan right now. Like they had to build a new roster.
I'm looking at NOAH Destiny, which is their top-rated show ever on Cage Match.
Yeah.
And you look at some of these names, and it's like they have the worst luck with guys getting hurt or guys getting cancer or dying.
Yeah.
Like, after Misawa died, it was pretty much up to Kawada and Kobashi.
Yeah.
And then Kobashi got cancer, correct?
Yeah. Got cancer a few times.
Right, but then was finally done.
Yeah.
Just, enough's enough. So you lose Misawa and Kobashi back to back. In my opinion, those are the two best guys that have ever wrestled in NOAH.
Yeah.
Because they're probably two of the best guys that have ever wrestled in Japan.
Mitsuharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi. I think
they'd be in my top 5, for sure.
Wrestling-wise, I think they should be in everybody's top 5. I think the only guy that can touch them this day and age is Kazuchika Okada, Japanese wrestling.
I would say Choshu and Okada. Those would be my 2.
Yeah,
I would say could touch them.
It's funny because All Japan was always popular, but it was always like cult-like popular.
Right.
Like New Japan was still the big deal. They had the Tokyo Dome. Like, right. I remember the old, when Giant Baba died, All Japan finally sold out the Tokyo Dome. It just took Giant Baba dying to do it. Like, they never were able to sell out the Tokyo Dome like New Japan did. And you got Misawa, you got Kawada, you got Kobashi, you got Taue, Akiyama. You got all these great guys, the 4 pillars of heaven. But it never worked out. Now you go to NOAH. Misawa's a huge star. Kobashi's a huge star. But their prime days are over. Akiyama finally gets his big break. I don't think Akiyama ever lived up to the hype that he was going to be like the second coming of anything. But he's still a 3 or 4 time GHC champion. He's a former Triple Crown champion. Now working for DDT, former KOD Openweight champion. That's a fall from grace there. This is Jun Akiyama. And he's working for a little independent comedy promotion. NOAH fell hard. I think out of any promotion, they fell the hardest. Like, even harder than All Japan.
Their top-rated show, let's say post-COVID, is the Kaiji Muto Grand Final Pro Wrestling Last Love Holdout show.
Yeah.
They had 30,000 people at the Tokyo Dome, but if you look at this card, half of the wrestlers were for New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
You had Chono versus Muto, which lasted 1 minute and 37 seconds.
That happened after Muto had his final match with Naito.
Then before that, it was Kiyomaya versus Okada, where Okada beat the shit out of. Man, what's up with those two? They just hate each other.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a work or I think it was a work, but I think they just put some realism into it. It was the NOAH A's versus the New Japan A's. Right. Okada saying Noah's nothing compared to New Japan. But in the early 2000s, it was roles reversed. New Japan was on the down, and NOAH was the biggest thing ever. Like, NOAH sold out the Tokyo Dome.
It's sad because you say that, and we're talking about Kaiji Muto. Any promotion Kaiji Muto has ever helped run has always been at its weakest when he's been a part of it. And I don't know why, because that's the great Muto we're talking about. Yes
and no, because Muto was a huge part of New Japan in the mid-90s with the UWF-I feud, where they sold out the Tokyo Dome, I believe, 2 straight years. And the first match was with Keiji Muto versus Nobuhiko Takada. Then they rematched at the the Tokyo Dome, I believe. And that's when Takada won the belt. And then they had the third match, but this one was Takada versus Hashimoto. But Muto, huge in New Japan, but always, like you said, after that, there to help a promotion that's needing that help.
Yeah, Noah's interesting. It's definitely interesting. And it's kind of sad that their best show was, with that many guys from New Japan. I just don't know, every time you hear people talk about NOAH, it's always great because their shows, they do a lot of indie stuff. They were always big with Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I mean, at that time, Morishima was probably their best, and that guy pretty much had a fall from he just kept falling and falling and falling.
The fall for Noah was hard, and the fall for Takeshi Morishima was worse. The stories I've heard about him just being like this outcast, like not really having any friends, not interested in any romantic relationships, just sitting in his apartment watching movies. At one point, I believe he was homeless, sleeping on other wrestlers' couches. I believe he's doing better now, but it's the sad tale of the wrestler that all they know is wrestling, and now you can't do it. Takeshi Morishima was that. His old tag team partner, Takeshi Rikio, an underrated wrestler in my opinion. I really like Takeshi Rikio. I know I'm in the minority there. But he became a part of Noah, became like president and all that.
Right. I'm looking at this, their starting over show from February 15th. Seems like a banger of a show. You had Kadoji and Shiozaki versus Akiyama and Nagata. That is, it's funny. The more and more I read this, the more and more I'm like, All Japan should do this, and I'd watch it more. Great Bash Heel, great tag team. Who I've always loved. Masato Tanaka, Daisuke Sekimoto, Shuji Ishikawa, Taka Michinoku. Like, that is... Just on the All Japan subject, if they could sign all those guys, that'd be great.
But all those guys are signed to smaller, like Daisuke Sakimoto has been a big Japan guy since he started. He stayed loyal to them. Taka Michinoku, I believe he's signed with New Japan now because Kaintai Dojo is now... they changed their name because Michinoku ain't there anymore.
Right. Yeah, he's went to JTO. I think that's his promotion.
JTO?
Started to just tap out.
Okay.
I mean, he's still part of Just Five Guys. Oh, that's who we forgot we were talking about New Japan. Yuya Yamera.
Ah, yeah, that's right. That's the fourth. Bad. Yeah.
And that stupid Just Five Guys promotion.
But speaking of Just Five Guys, next thing for Noah, good-looking guys. Jake Lee, Anthony Green, Jack Morris, Tadasuke, and Yohei. This seems to be like the popular faction for Pro Wrestling Noah. Jake Lee, you touched on it earlier, former Triple Crown champion, former GHC heavyweight champion. Not really the number one guy in the promotion, but someone that you can...
Never the number one guy anywhere.
Never the number one guy anywhere. But you can stick your world title on him and it works.
Right.
His brother, Jason Lee, in Dragon Gate right now. What is it about Jake Lee that screams main eventer right now? Because you look at him and I don't know what it is, but Jake Lee has that it factor.
He's got that charisma. I remember when he was in All Japan, and I was like, I'm not really a big fan of this guy. Then he won the title, and I'm like, holy shit. He, got good overnight.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a Shota Amino. I didn't always think Shota was a good wrestler, and then now you watch him, and it's like, holy crap, he's good.
Yeah.
Same thing with, Yuya Yamera. A lot of those young guys, it's like it hits them overnight.
Yeah.
1 week they're dog shit, the next time they're the best wrestler in the ring, and it's just... Jake Lee, to me, if he would have stayed in All Japan, would have been the difference.
Yeah. I think he could have been... I don't know if he's going to be the number one guy anywhere, like you said.
No, but he always seems to get that treatment where it's you're good, but you're not better than this person.
Yeah. And it's not a disrespect to him. He's still highly featured. He's a main event guy. He was the first challenger to El Hijo del Dr. Wagner. I can see him winning the GHC belt again.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing about Noah, I watched the title matches, and I've never seen a Jake Lee title match that I didn't like.
Yeah, that's a fair point right there.
He's good.
Yeah,
that's the best way to put it. He's good. He knows he's good. He doesn't wrestle like he's great. He wrestles like he's okay. But he reminds me a lot of Nakamura.
A little bit, yeah. He's got that sort of charisma. pre-Nakamura going all Michael Jackson, like when he started Chaos, actually.
Right.
His last reign as IWGP Heavyweight Champion reminds me a little bit of that. But before we move on to our last promotion, the last guy I want to talk about in NOAH, is just a personal one for me, Tadasuke. He is part of GLG, teaming right now with Yohei. He's a 3-time GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion. I don't see him winning the Junior Heavyweight title, just the singles title. This guy was in Osaka Pro Wrestling years ago. Former Osaka Pro Wrestling champion. Now, this guy, right now, he was the world champion in a small promotion like that. He's junior heavyweight tag team champions here, and this is probably as far as he goes. Is it best to be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a bigger pond?
I like the big fish in the small pond.
So you think he should still be? So you think he should still be in Osaka?
I mean, I'm like this with the indies too. I hate it when the indies have really good guys and then they go somewhere.
And they do nothing with them?
It almost ruined GCW.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it happens, it happened in the UK. Like, all those guys left, and then they were left to, but, it's also good because then you have to find a new champ. Yeah. Or you have to find a new number one. Because if you don't, you're done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good. It's kind of the revolving door of pro wrestling. If you're good, somebody's wanting to sign you. It's like anything.
Yeah. But that was Noah. This next and last promotion we're going to talk about, this is going to be all Connor because I know nothing about this promotion. I know you're a fan of it, and we're talking about Tokyo Joshi Pro. So inform me on this one.
So I watch it quite a bit. I guess I shouldn't say quite a bit because there's a lot of shows. I watch the Tokyo, I watch their Princess show, which is always a big one. I got into it mainly because a lot of the girls started to come to the U.S. Miyu Yamashita is probably the best in Tokyo Joshi Pro. You probably remember Shoko Nakajima.
Yep.
That's where she's at.
So, question before you continue. Is this the promotion that Minoru Suzuki just won the cutest princess thing?
Possibly?
Yes, Minoru Suzuki is the cutest princess. We talked about it on Wrestling with the Bros, and this just for Minoru Suzuki, it's hilarious.
I haven't watched a lot because they haven't had big shows. They've just been the tournaments. They had Grand Princess, but that was last week, so I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to say yes because everything is princess themed.
Okay.
They all kind of dress up. Yes, 2024 Grand Princess winner Minoru Suzuki. Yes. This is one reason I love Tokyo Joshi Pro. Because, yes, it is a female promotion. And yes, I shouldn't say that. They're pretty open. This is where Yuka Sakazaki and Rio came from.
Okay.
You know what? If you don't like Rio, screw you. Rio's great. I know a lot of people don't. She's great. You don't like her because she's little. And that's the problem, too. And I hope Stardom overcomes that. AEW started with a lot of the Tokyo Joshi Pro and what's Maiko Satomoro's promotion? Sendai Girls, those kind of wrestlers because they weren't signed anywhere. They were signed to Tokyo Joshi Pro, but they were allowed to go over.
That's not where Hikaru Shida started, right?
Shida's kind of been around ever. She's from Ice Ribbon originally.
Ice Ribbon, okay, yeah.
So they brought quite a few girls from Ice Ribbon too. But I hope Stardom makes people realize that just because they're 110 pounds in Japanese doesn't mean they're not good wrestlers.
Yeah.
I hope Stardom proves that in AEW. On a Tokyo Joshi Pro scale, they've been starting to do quite a bit in the US. They have had a show in Los Angeles and at whichever WrestleMania was in LA. Was that last year?
I don't remember.
And then this year in Philly, they had a show against GCW, and then they had their own show. They do a lot with Prestige Wrestling in California. They've done 2 shows with them, which were spectacular. They have a lot of American contingent. So, Palm Harajuku does she's like a schoolgirl character, but she's a badass. You know Max the Impaler?
Yep.
I
In
mean?
NWA.
So Max and Palm were a tag team in December at the Prestige show that they did with Tokyo Joshi Pro.
Okay.
And it's like monster and schoolgirl tag team. Palm was an absolute badass that whole time. You've heard of Maki Ito. You've probably seen Maki Ito.
I have.
Maki Ito comes from Tokyo Joshi Pro. Somebody, I remember talking to you about this. I can't remember. Masha Slamovich is over there.
Okay.
Was that the show I'm thinking of? Yes. Great introduction to Tokyo Joshi Pro for anybody who wants to watch it. And Corey, for you need to watch this match. Tokyo Joshi Pro 24. It's their first show of the year at Corrigan Hall. Masha Slamovich versus Miyu Yamashita.
Okay.
It was off the charts. They beat the crap out of each other for 17 and a half minutes. Just back and forth. Ryo Mizunami from AEW, she's there. Miyu Watanabe is good. Rika Tatsumi is great. Rina Yamashita from GCW wrestles there. Aja Kong is there a lot. Minoru Suzuki, obviously. One cutest princess. It's hard to follow a lot of the teams and stuff. I don't know a lot about like the stables and because I don't care. I want to watch the people that I like beat the crap out of each other, and they do it every time. Like their main events are like 20 minutes minimum, and it's just them beating the crap out of each other, which is a little bit different than Stardom because Stardom's more like athletic.
Yeah.
Not that they're not athletic in Tokyo Joshi Pro, but it's more like hard-hitting, strong style.
Yeah.
Like Miyu Yamashita just likes to kick people in the face for no reason.
Yeah.
But you get a little bit of everything. Like, it's just, I find it really enjoyable. I don't know who half of them are because the broadcasts are usually in Japanese, and I know who I know, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I'll usually go on Cage Match and see, like, what the match is and who it is, try to figure out who's who. It's great. They're doing a lot of American expansion. Emi Sakura wrestles there as well. I think a lot of people got into it once they saw them on AEW, but that's where like Ryo Yuka Sakazaki are from. Mizuki is really good. I'd tell anybody to give it a shot, especially if you watch Stardom and you're kind of like, I don't like how Stardom's so like high flying all the time. Watch Tokyo Joshi Pro. Watch that Slamovich Yamashita match. It'll change your mind.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It reminds me of a lot of the way Maiko Satomura wrestles.
Okay.
Like, how when they came over, like her and Bull Nakano and Akira Hokuto used to wrestle? Mm-hmm. That's what Tokyo Joshi Pro reminds me of.
So basically like I don't want to say a strong style, but more of a stiff style.
Like a stiff style, but then again, they don't all wrestle like that. But their top like 3 or 4 go all out every time.
Because you're talking about Bull Nakano and Akira Hokuto and all. That's classic 90s All Japan women's wrestling.
Right. Like
some of the best. The only thing that could be comparable to that popularity would have been in the 80s with the Crush Gals.
Right.
But Tokyo Joshi Pro. Interesting. I'm going to have to check that out.
Joshi's becoming really big in the U.S. now.
Yeah.
Like, they're always on independent shows. It's a shame nobody's brought them here. There's a lot of talent that I think might not bring people in because they're there. But once people see it, you would have Joshi's on every Maritime Wrestling show.
Yeah. I'd love to see some Joshi in Maritime Wrestling.
Even just once. Give us, they go to Deadlock Pro. Bring them here on a Friday.
Yeah. I'll have to talk to Uncle Burke about that one.
Yeah. I don't know if the Titan Board is the right place. We'll have to get him to run the casino again, maybe.
I'd be down for that. I'd love to see the casino. I'd love to see the Capitol Theater again. Capitol was a great show. Were you at the Capitol Theater show? Yeah.
I wish that they would have got back into Riverview.
Riverview is kind of IHW territory again.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be. They should have not closed the Lions Club.
Yeah, that was the big problem.
Those North Pro, I know North Pro never really technically had any shows there because it was ECW,
Yeah.
But those shows were off the charts.
Well, technically speaking, North Pro did run the Coverdale Rec Center and the Lions Club once each. The first North Pro show was the Pandemic show.
Right, yeah. When Decker was supposed to wrestle Durning.
Yes,
Durning versus Davis, yeah.
There you go. Sorry about that. And they did the Lions Club once. It was Hero X.
Yeah, it's when Decker and Durning had that
match, and you had Josh Alexander.
Right.
Defend the X Division title.
Speaking of people, Mike Marston wrestling Shelton Benjamin. That's big.
Where is this?
NSPW.
Oh, okay. So interesting stuff there. Turned into state of maritime wrestling here.
it's all connected, right?
All connecting.
Yeah, Tokyo Joshi Pro, great. Aja Kong's there often. We love Aja Kong.
Aja Kong, interesting stuff. Didn't even know she still wrestled.
Yep, all the time.
So that'll be the episode. I want to thank Connor Smith. Like I said, it's the first time. It won't be the last time. This is probably going to be a 3-parter. You're welcome on the channel anytime. Friend of the Maritime Warrior channel, a friend of the BSHL channel, friend for life with me. Don't forget, go follow the Spring Hill Coal Miners Facebook page. If you have SwearNet has this show called Get Pucked, and you will see Connor Smith on Get Pucked, along with Dave Boyce and Big T. You can't
miss him on there from time to time.
From time to time, he's my favorite part of the show because he's one of my best friends. Really, really good show. It's about senior hockey. It's about the formation of the Spring Hill Coal Miners. A bit of a mockumentary style, would you say?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who thought it was real and thought they were treating me like crap, and I thought it was funny.
I was one of them. I was like, why are they treating Connor like that? And he's like, Corey, it's fake.
Yeah.
But
it's not fake, it's scripted.
It's scripted, there you go. But I'm telling you, SwearNet is the Trailer Park Boys streaming service. Super cheap to get. Get Pucked, 10 episodes. It's every Wednesday, I believe, they air the episodes. I'm all caught up so far. I think 4 episodes are out as of this recording.
Tuesday will be number 5. There's some good shows on there too, and if you're a wrestling fan, that free Wrestle Center show that was shot.
Bullshit.
2020.
Yeah, it was bullshit with Troy Merrick and Chuck Martin. It's a documentary style going.
Oh no, there's that, but I mean like the actual. They ran a free show.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the end. That's the end of the show.
Oh.
So you have bullshit, and then the final episode is the show. It's the wrestling show leading up to that. There's Turnbuckles, a sort of movie revolving around wrestling. Yeah. And did I mention Get Pucked, starring Connor Smith? Can't miss that one.
Yeah.
All right, Connor.
I got recognized at the rink for that last week.
There you go. So that'll be the end of this episode. I want to thank Connor Smith once again. Really appreciate you coming on, and it won't be the last one. So thank you very much, and have a great day, everybody.